done.
Yeah, all right, here we go, right? And Art Nouveau Foam Stamps, take 94, action.
It feels like it, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. So by now, you've seen the video about the Art Nouveau stencils, and we're really, really pleased with them, and we hope that you've enjoyed them as much as we did. So today we have the extra special delight of introducing the next iteration of Art Nouveau, which are foam stamps. Now I'm gonna have to hold this back here a little bit so that you can see it. So there are 12 designs, I'll get my big old fingers out of there, that Elizabeth has come up with, and I'm peeking around the side here. There are these 12 designs, and there are many ways that you can use these. Elizabeth is going to demo making some fun Art Nouveau themed panel cards, long, vertical. But the thing that I wanted to tell you before I let her do her part is that we cut these in our warehouse in Rhode Island. We have 2 ginormous lasers. We buy foam in big sheets, and then we cut little stamps out of big sheets. So it all happens there. We have the inserts printed by a company that's a town over. So really, when we say that it's made in the US, it's all done with us. I mean, we get the inserts, we get the bags, we label them, we get them out the door to you, and you get to play with them.
That is fun. I want to come and watch the laser.
You'd be entranced for about 3 seconds.
3
and
seconds.
Then you'd be done.
I'd have to spend $1,000 to get to the East Coast from California, and I'd be watching 3 seconds of laser. But I could go to lunch with you.
That's true. You could.
That would be fun.
If
I
I
could
were
get a
actually-
tour of the
yeah.
warehouse.
You could. There's a lot of stuff, a lot of shelves, a lot of boxes.
Would I have to wear a hard hat?
No, but you can't wear open-toe shoes.
What?
We want to protect your tootsies.
Really? I have to wear metal toe boots?
No, just not open-toe.
Okay.
All right?
All right then. I'll pack
Anyway,
my boots.
you do that.
We'll do it in the winter. Yeah. But yeah, it's kind of cool that they do it right there in the warehouse. You don't outsource the foam stamps. You cut them right in.
Everything is cut
in-house.
right in-house. Yep.
Wow, so
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I had so much fun with these because I made cards. And I'm going to show you how to do it. But I am someone who sends cards. I send a lot of cards. You know that.
She's really good about sending cards, thoughtful little cards, sometimes silly cards. The Christmas card she sent me last year was a bit of a joke, but we're gonna it's April. I'm gonna let it go.
You're gonna let it go.
But no, and I've stood here and watched Elizabeth stamp and stamp and stamp, and she'll do 20 or 30 cards at a time, so that when she's motivated to send one, which is frequently, she's got them ready to go.
Honestly, that's the way to do it. You need to set up your station and make a bunch of cards, and then put them away and then send them. If you have to pull it all out every single time you want to send a card, you're just not going to do it. So I literally make 40 or 50 of them at once. I made a whole bunch of these. I'm really excited about putting them in brown craft envelopes and having them on hand.
Absolutely.
So.
And before I forget, we have panel cards in craft, which you'll see Elizabeth use. We have them in watercolor, black, and we have them in gray. So you are not relegated to craft if that's not your thing.
Right, yeah, and different sizes.
Yes.
I mean, I'm using, what is this,
That's a number 10 panel card.
The number 10 panel card, because I wanted them to be tall and vertical, but of course you could do 5x7, 4x6, whatever.
Yeah, whatever floats your boat.
Whatever floats your boat.
Shall we go float our boat over there?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
All right. I am so excited. Barb and I are so excited, but I am probably even more excited about these new Art Nouveau foam stamps. Art Nouveau was my favorite art movement when I was in college. It's still my favorite. I was just always really taken with the swirly, curvilinear lines and the organic subject matter. So it's totally my favorite thing. So the foam stamps were created at the same time that the stencils were designed. So I designed the foam stamps at the same time I did the stencils. So they could actually work nicely together. But this is our, what do we call it? Our announcement.
What is the word that we're
It's
looking
the release party, Barb.
The launch.
The launch.
We have liftoff.
And it's the release party.
Okay.
Barb and I are having a party by ourselves over here
Yeah,
with a charcuterie board and
That's right.
Yeah. Anyway, it's the launch. So here are the designs. We have the Swan Dance, Nouveau, Fruits, Spring Blossom, arabesque border, and I'm really excited about the flexibility of the two borders. The other border is the Secession style. Then we've got the Vessel, Tiffany, Macintosh Rose, the Lyre, the Water Lily, Sinuous, and I think that's all of them.
I think that's all 12.
So it's all 12. They play nicely together, and they have a lot of uses, and I just wanted to show you a couple of ways you could use them today. And, you know, hopefully you will be as excited about them as we are. All right, so one thing I did, first of all, was I used them to stamp on paper. So a couple of them, several of them work great as a repeating pattern. So for this one, I just put it upright, flipped it upside down, and then back again, and just lined them across. I used all the same ink pad color on these, and I'm using Archival inks, Tim Holtz Distressed Archival inks from Ranger. I've got storage tin for these because it's the best way to keep track of them. And they're the mini ones, which are really nice because you get more colors for less money than the larger pads, and you don't really need the larger pads. I'll show you how to use these. So I've got 2 tins of great colors, and in this one, what I like doing is stamping it at full strength and then stamping it a second time, and you get a lighter color, and then full strength and then a second time, and so on. So when you stamp it 2 and 3 times, it gets lighter each time, but it continues to stamp, and that's giving me sort of a 2-tone effect. And I can see where this would be really good for creating your own wrapping paper or in a background of a journal or a mixed media project. And same with this next one. Here's another one. I used different color ink pads on this, all in a color family of warm colors. So those all came out of this tin. And I flipped them up and down and up and down. So there are several stamps in the collection that you can do this repeat pattern with. The other way that I can see myself using them is on gel prints. So taking gel printing a sheet of paper for collage and then stamping either a whole bunch of them or the repeat pattern such as this on the collage paper, or you know, whatever you need for your projects, whatever you're going to use for your paper crafts, for your gel printed paper. But these are all stamped in a dark purple ink pad from this box, which is a lot of kind of earth tones and darks. So those are all from this tin. And I really like stamping them on the gel printed paper. And these are archival inks. So you can use them in your art projects. You can use them in your artwork because they are oil-based and they are permanent and fade-proof. So you can feel good about using these stamps on projects, art projects, works of art that are going to be permanent and exposed to light. So the thing that I wanted to demonstrate today that I think is going to be a lot of fun is I made some panel cards because Art Nouveau, you know, really was a lot of these graphics, oftentimes with borders for book plates or advertising. I thought vertical would be the way to go, and then I'd make myself a set of panel cards. So I used this one and a border at the bottom on all of these, and I really like just running that border across the bottom, and then you can write your note in here and just centering the stamp artwork. I really like the, I think this is this one, let's see, Fired Brick. It's a nice dark earth tone on the brown craft tags. Then I use brown, navy blue. I've got one that I use green, a different brown, and a purple. So these are all sort of earth tones, which I thought worked nice for Art Nouveau because it's about, you know, organic, natural stuff. And here now I've got 2, 4, 5 cards. You could make yourself a full set of these and they would hold you over for sending cards for a while. So let me show you how to do it. So let's see, I'm gonna take the swan one. At first when I looked at this, I thought, oh no, it's way too big, it's gonna get cut off. But it kind of has a really neat effect when it's cropped off in the center. So for the small ink pads, the way that I like to do them is I dab directly on to the stamp. Oh, and the other thing I want to mention is you don't have to make the whole stamp one color. Here I did some ombres where with the small pad I was able to do 2 colors, such as this one. I did that with the small pad and then added green. This one I did 2 tones of green, green and purple, and so on. And with the swans we could also do 2 colors, 1 on each swan. That's the benefit of these small stamp pads, is that you can apply the color sort of more specifically than with a big pad. So for the purpose of demonstrating, I'm just going to make this all one color, but I'm dabbing it on there. So pressing and dabbing across the whole surface, and then you want to try and center it, but it doesn't have to be perfect. So I look at the bump in the middle of the swan's heads and the paper, and I put it across the top like that and press. I am guilty of applying too much pressure sometimes, which wiggles the stamp and then gives it a soft edge rather than a crisp edge. So, you know, you don't have to give it so much pressure. There we go. And need a paper towel, maybe. Well, we're on our nonstick craft mat, so even though that's archival ink, it's gonna come right off. And now we have the swans. So I'm gonna put a border at the bottom. But here's what I want to do with the border. I want the border to be lighter than the swans. So the swans are the focal point and the border is going to be lighter. So what I'm going to do is instead of tapping the stamp pad on, I'm going to take it and I'm going to slide it across. This applies a lighter amount of ink than if you tap it. So I'm sliding it across, and then I'm going to come down here and stamp that across the bottom. And you can see I'm sort of getting like a ghost, a light ghost. So now I've got 2 tones, the light and the darker. Now the other way you could get that light ghost is you could ink it up and stamp it elsewhere and make this your 2nd or 3rd print, and it will be this light. But if you want it this light out of the gate, I'm just rubbing the stamp pad rather than tapping it. That's something I found while I was making these that I thought looked really neat. So now for the envelope. So for the matching envelope, basically, I'm going to take that same border, and this time I want it to be darker on the envelope, so I'm going to do the tapping to apply the ink. And I just want to show you what I did with the little pads with this one too. I made each section a different color, and I was pretty able to get it pretty accurate with the little ink pads. So you don't want to do this across the bottom of your envelope because the post office needs 5/8 of an inch across the whole bottom for the way it reads the addresses. So you want to do it at the top. And I put my stamp on first, and then I'm just bringing this right up to the next of the postage stamp. There.
Pretty.
So this is, I wiggled it a little bit, and I get a little bit of a softer focus when you wiggle it versus over here. So you just have to practice a little bit stamping, but I don't mind that. You know, it's the hand done aspect of it. It doesn't look like it was printed on there by an envelope company. So you get more of your hand done, but that's what happens if you wiggle it. And of course, look at how nice and crisp this one is because I didn't wiggle it. Okay, so now we have our envelope and our panel card, and we have 2 different borders. We have that one.
That one's named Arabesque.
Arabesque.
There you go, you have the card.
That one, and then we have this one, which is Secession style. So both of those borders are great for creating panel cards like this, where you can run it on the envelope and also on the bottom of the Art Nouveau card itself. So I know that you're going to have fun with these in many different applications. This is just a quick lesson that I wanted to show you for our launch party and our announcement of this whole collection of brand new Art Nouveau inspired foam stamps from Joggles.com.
And Elizabeth St. Hilaire.
Oh yeah, and me. So that's all we have to say about foam stamps, but here's what they look like. In case you've never seen one before. Thanks for being here.
Bye.
Bye.